Guess what, everybody? I like Ocarina of Time. It's a pretty good game. Sure, it's one of those linear Zeldas, but what does that even mean? The older Zelda games restrict your options. The newer ones let you do anything you want. On a scale of least to most linear, you've got Ocarina of Time and its successors on one end, and Zelda 1 with its successors on the other, right? What if I told you Ocarina of Time was actually right in the middle of this spectrum? The only dungeon you have to beat in a particular order is the Great Deku Tree. And no, I'm not talking about glitches or speedruns. In this video, I'm going to show the various ways Ocarina of Time encourages non-linear exploration and opens up the dungeons much sooner than you might think. We won't be using any glitches or even non-glitched major sequence breaks the devs obviously didn't account for, like going to Spirit Temple before the Master Sword by using this cucko. This is a fully Nintended progression video. Before we get into it, this video is brought to you by me. I made it. Support me by clicking the subscribe button. See? Easy. First things first, you can't leave Kokiri Forest without beating the Great Deku Tree. It ain't happening. Well, I can, but we're not gonna do that. So this is the first linear bottleneck of the adventure, the horror. So I beat Great Deku Tree and this owl told me to head straight to Hyrule Castle. Straight to Hyrule Castle. Or Kakariko, or Lake Hylia. I paved my own way in the field and oh my god! Money! Oh, hey, it's the owl. Yeah, man, I'm definitely going straight to the castle. I just forgot something over here in the lake. It's cool, trust me. This clown passive-aggressively told me I'm free to go anywhere I want. Damn right I am. This game's non-linear. This Gerudo place looks awesome. I want to join. Gonna shoo me away, huh? I get it. I don't look the part. Something inherent to my body doesn't fit the mold. I'll be right back. Hey, I dyed my hair red. Can I come in now? Ignoring me, huh? Now I really want to join. Well, this isn't gonna wash out easy. My hair's red now. Grabbed a few heart pieces, some Skulltulas, and even met these fine Zora friends. I really like them. As soon as I get the chance, I'm abandoning everything else and beelining for the Zoras. I know the owl told me to head right to town, but fishing? Oh yeah, this is the life. And I even got a heart piece for it. Maybe it's just my guilty conscience, but something is telling me I should really head to the castle soon. But I did miss a heart piece in Gerudo Valley, so give me a sec. Damn, this game even has the paraglider. It really is part of the open world games. Got it. I know I said no glitches, but that really just meant no sequence breaking. I mean, this glitch is cool. Aren't you glad you saw it? Crap. Missed the Skulltula anyway. See, cheaters never prosper. Oh hey, it's the owl again. At this point, he's so frustrated, he's offering to fly me right to Hyrule Castle. Yeah, sounds good. Here we are, just a few hundred feet from Lon Lon Ranch. And there it is, our fourth heart piece. We haven't even gone to market yet, and we already have a fifth heart container. This game's honestly way more open than I expected. I wonder what else we can do. Go to Kakariko Village, of course. Oh my god, dude, shut up. I'm not doing the thing. This lady lost her cuccos, so I grabbed them for her and boom, empty bottle. I also used the paraglider mom said we had at home to grab this heart piece. Friggin' sweet. Here comes our first real progression bottleneck since Kokiri Forest, though. This guard won't let us into Death Mountain without a royal decree. I guess that means we have no other choice but to come back tonight when he's gone. He's still here? This guy needs a union. Well, since it's nighttime in Kakariko, you know what that means. Dampe! Dampe the Gravekeeper has a minigame at night where he'll dig up random patches of dirt for the player. Each dig costs 10 rupees and can yield a number of prizes. Ocarina of Time speedrunner ZFG has a great video on the details, but the simple version is that Dampe always has a 10% chance of digging up a piece of heart. Feeling lucky? Let's go! Oh, 14 digs. It's still no heart. I can't explain just how unlucky that is without a full-length Dampe video, but to put it briefly, the 15th dig has to be the heart piece due to the item table having nothing left. And I ran out of money on dig 14. Now I have to reload the area to grind rupees, which set the dig count back to 0. Here we go again. 23 digs total. That's awful. Keep in mind, it's not a 10% chance every time. It starts at a 10% chance, then it's supposed to become increasingly likely until dig 15, when it's a 100% chance. So getting 23 after running out of money at 14? I don't think I've ever had a worse Dampe. And I was recording. Entered the House of Skulltulas after Dampe and cashed in my 10 tokens for the adult wallet. Wow, this would have been helpful 20 minutes ago. I'm so good at routing. Alright, we got the adult wallet, 5.5 hearts, tons of skulls. I think we've done everything we could before heading to market for the first time. But what a haul! I played the shooting gallery for a slingshot upgrade and met this cute girl in town. Fairy boy? It was 1998. That was the term back then. Returned this woman's terrier to her and got my 6th heart. 8 heart pieces before meeting that Zelda gal. Alright, I really have dawdled enough though. Let's go see her. Woke up Talon, snuck into the castle, and listen, I know I'm Link, but if Luigi came by these parts, Zelda would need better security, if you know what I'm saying. Of course, I'm referring to Luigi Mario from Luigi's Mansion. He's very sneaky, hunts ghosts, does not make them though. This section's gonna make so little sense to viewers in 5 years. Finally meeting Zelda, and she asked me to peek through this window. Oh! Impa's pretty insistent that I head to Death Mountain for Dungeon 2, but this is a non-linear adventure. Surely Shigeru Nintendo would give me more options than this. Of course, I can go to Lon Lon Ranch again. Got another bottle, learned a Pona song, and yeah, okay, time to go back to Kakariko Village. The Zora area isn't open until we get explosives, and those explosives are in Dodongo's Cavern. So this really must be a linear game, right? Wrong. It's true we have to enter Dodongo's Cavern to get bombs, but we don't have to beat it. This might seem strange, but the game doesn't just allow you to do it, it has specific behavior if you do. We can leave DC as soon as we get the bombs, head to Zora River, and blow up this bottleneck, and now the entire child section is open to us. Nothing about the Zora quest requires resolving things in Goron City. This isn't just a consequence of them giving me the bomb bag. It would have been really easy to have Zora's domain stay closed until Dodongo's Cavern was beaten. Truly linear Zelda games like Twilight Princess have strict binary checks that prevent their dungeons from being played out of order, not just item requirements like bombs. It might be strange to leave DC half finished, but they knew you could, and they didn't try to stop you. After beating Jabu Jabu, you can head to Zelda's courtyard, and she'll have unique dialogue for having completed one of the dungeons but not the other. The game doesn't just check for the Zora Sapphire to begin Ganon's coup, it specifically checks for all 3 spiritual stones. That's non-linear, baby! After beating Jabu Jabu, I went back to wrap up Dodongo's Cavern and then headed to the market. Zelda flees the castle, Ganon pursues her, and Link watches in silence. Something must be done about this. To honor the dead princess, I have dyed my hair blonde. Okay, in all seriousness, I will concede it's a bit wonky leaving a dungeon half finished, but it's the start of the game. Trust me, the adult dungeons are much different. You can tackle the first 3 in any order you want. Let's get to it. The first chapter was mostly going through the motions and being a stinker whenever possible. But after pulling the Master Sword, the game world really does open for you. There are a few hard rules with this section of the game, which I can outline for you now. You cannot enter the Shadow Temple without the Nocturne of Shadow, which explicitly checks for the Forest, Fire, and Water medallions. You cannot go back in time without the Forest medallion, as Sheik is blocking this pedestal. You cannot enter the Spirit Temple without a way to cross this gap, and in my rule set, a glitchless way. Aside from that, we've got 3 main dungeons, half a dozen quests, and even a few mini dungeons at our disposal. Who wants to adventure? The first order of business is actually following Sheik's instructions and heading to Kakariko. Here, we get the hook shot. You're meant to use this to enter the Forest Temple, but I'm going off the rails a bit. The Song of Storms will help us legally enter Bottom of the Well next time we're child, but I can't do that for now. My last stop in Kakariko is starting the Bigoron Sword quest. It does good damage, and there's nothing stopping you from doing it before entering a single adult dungeon. I ruined this small business by stealing a horse they trained and fed for 7 years. They'll never financially recover from this. But I need her. It's not like I'm allowed to use glitches for speed. Wait, what's this footage doing here? Avert your eyes. This is an AI hallucination. Looks like we solved the first problem of Gerudo Valley, but it's not time to do Spirit Temple quite yet. I'm just here to trade off the Poacher's Saw. Wait a minute. Poacher's Saw? Tiger skin pants? There aren't tigers in Hyrule. And now we know why. I'm sure he'll use that saw for good. And if he doesn't, it's not like I'm responsible. I only supplied him the weapon. I'm the America of this situation. Are you saying America does bad things? Moving right along, I started the Fire Temple quest and got the Goron tunic. We won't be doing the Fire Temple for quite some time, but I did grab the Bolero of Fire so we can warp back here whenever. This Goron needs healthcare? Sorry, buddy. I'm the America of this situation. But wait, he needs healthcare so he can make me a weapon? Go, go, go! It's an emergency! I need to see King Zora's stat! Oh my god. Hope he's got good health insurance. We need blue fire to thaw King Zora. It costs 3 cents to bottle, but I'm gonna charge 3,000 to administer it. Alright, all jokes aside, I really like this jump in Ice Cavern. Can't really explain why, I just like grabbing this ledge by targeting the wall. I'm simple to please. These jumps are not glitches, by the way. They're an exploit of intended ice mechanics, and they're not even required. I just think they're cool. I got the iron boots and learned the Serenade of Water. Now I can thaw King Zora and get that prescription filled. Aw, hell yeah, blue. I love blue. Okay, he also gave us the eyeball frog. We've got 3 minutes to reach Lake Hylia, which is totally doable on Epona, but you want to see something cooler? I can clip out of bounds using this ladder and then swim through the out of bounds water and reach Child Link's exit to Lake Hylia. Not a sequence break, just neat. I can't help myself, alright? And here we are, Bigoron, your eye drops. There are no lengths the United States won't go for their weapons contractors. Just don't ask us to spend even 5% of that same budget on bettering our citizens' lives. Are you guys enjoying my #resistance Ocarina of Time content? I'm so brave. Donate to my Patreon so I can defend myself when Raytheon Technology sues me. Alright, the Bigoron sword. A lot of viewers make fun of the way I pronounce Bigoron, but they always stop when I pull it out. That's called brandishing, kids, and it's a felony. Alright, that's enough resistance content for now. I'm gonna take a much-needed break to focus on fishing. Fun fact, every 5 seconds, the fish has a 5% chance of letting go. It's pure luck, and that means you can theoretically lose the fish every single time, even if you're doing nothing wrong. That's why I prefer to catch my fish right at the edge of the line, like, oh my god! I have never actually done that before. That's how speedrunners do it. Raytheon, hire me. I'm a fish-killing machine. Since we've got iron boots and the hook shot, how about we enter our first adult dungeon, the Water Temple. This is normally the 3rd choice in every playthrough, but if you play it exactly right, this dungeon doesn't require the bow at all. I didn't play exactly right. See when I open this door? Rookie mistake. I should have used Furor's Wind to get back to the top of the dungeon. By using that small key, I've doomed myself to needing the bow. And that brings up an interesting question for the rules of this challenge. Besides doing what's technically possible, I believe we should also take into consideration what's reasonable. Is perfect key management a realistic expectation? Sure, you can do this dungeon without the bow, but can you really on your first playthrough? And if you can't, is the game really non-linear? I think I'm gonna add a new rule that requires something be reasonably doable by a first-time player. Leaving Dodongo's Cavern is definitely fine, but knowing to save all of your keys in the water temple is a bridge too far for me. That does leave us in an interesting position though. I've already saved my game, so there's no fixing this. I need to shoot this eyeball switch to get that key. Well, I don't need to. If you hookshot a torch while touching a wall, you go right through it. You can then swim out of bounds and go wherever you want. That's the chest I need. Right there. But I don't have a glitchless way of getting it. I guess that means for now, we're done with the water temple. But I'll be back with a vengeance. So what now? Go to the forest temple like a chump? Accept defeat and submit to Shigeru Nintendo and his linear lies? Nothing stopping me from doing Gerudo Fortress right now. A guard! Quick, non-lethal takedown. Hookshot to the face, sword to the torso. Perfect. I'm stealthy as hell. There we go. I performed enough non-lethal takedowns to earn their respect and join their ranks. Finally, they've accepted me, even with my blonde hair. Hang on, this one's wearing blue. Blue's my color. One of us is gonna have to change. You know what? I'm the rookie. That's fair. I'll change. What are you doing? I think I'm gonna leave. Now that I'm an honorary ginger, I can access the haunted wasteland. You need hover boots or the long shot to cross this gap, so lucky me for doing half of the water temple, right? Now we can head to the spirit temple and... oh yeah. Casual players need the lens of truth to cross the wasteland. That probably falls into my reasonable rule from earlier. Crap, that means I gotta do spirit temple after forest. Damn it. I guess the only two options I have now are forest and fire. I refuse to be linear. I want to play in the most chaotic order possible, and I think I have an idea. I entered Forest Temple, but just for the bow. Something fun about playing these dungeons out of order is how the later items kind of trivialize some of their puzzles. There's no need to drain this well when you have iron boots. Alright, got the bow. Being in Forest Temple's making me uneasy though. This is almost linear. Back to water, and now I can do this the right way. There we go. And here we are at the boss. Totally Nintended. Here's a strat you can use at home. Longshot Morpha into this corner, turn around, and attack it to stun lock. Easiest one cycle ever. And there we go. That's our first adult dungeon down. 4 to go. I could do fire right now, but I kind of want to do spirit as early as possible. In order to do that, we have to beat forest. I think it's worth it considering how funny it would be to do spirit temple early. And there we are, forest temple cleared. Now we can go back in time and use the Song of Storms to enter the well and grab Lens of Truth. With forest and water conquered, it's time to head back to Child Link's world and grab a few essentials. Oh look, I have 64 skulls. Ever wanted to relive your childhood? It's easy. You just take your sword, shove it in, and then you can live vicariously through something that looks a bit like you. Maybe make it do all the stuff you regret not doing growing up. I'm sure it'll love that. Yes, I'm bitter I was forced to do marching band. Don't worry, I made it everyone else's problem and was out of it before the first football game. It's not like I had nothing going on after school. I was a theater kid. I'm sure that's the shock of the century. Here's a fun brain teaser. If the Windmill Man taught us the Song of Storms as an adult, and we're the one who taught it to him as a child, who composed the Song of Storms? Place your answers now. Sorry, wrong answer. It was Koji Kondo. I don't know how spinning this windmill makes the well drain, but if I've learned one thing during my time as a niche internet micro-celebrity, the fastest way to get corrected on anything is to mention it in a video. With that in mind, that's not how it works. What were they thinking? Can a pretty girl info dump about wells and irrigation now? When I was growing up, BOTW meant bottom of the well. Then Breath of the Wild got announced and ruined years of search results for Ocarina of Time speedrunners. Not to turn this into a review or anything, but I think this mini dungeon is a perfect example of how rewarding the old game's item design can be. The well is absolutely nonsensical until you find the Lens of Truth, which basically serves as the dungeon item for the Shadow Temple as well. When you really think about it, the game has 3 child dungeons, 3 adult dungeons, and 2 dungeons you tackle in both time periods. The Well and Shadow Temple are both beneath Kakariko Village, share the same music, and are definitely designed to be played back to back, which makes doing this non-linear, baby! We're back on topic! You ever think about how disturbing this area is, though? The floors and walls are just skulls. There's blood stains everywhere, torture posts, and oh my god! No! What? What? No! No! Why? Please! Oh god, why is it always hands? Every time it's hands! Oh my god. That sucked. But now we have the Lens of Truth. This handy magnifying glass will show you the truth behind everything. Look! Alright, with the lens we can cross Haunted Wasteland. Here's the one use of Lens of Truth in this playthrough. Lens of Truth fans, make some noise. And here we are at the Desert Colossus. Pretty crazy this only requires beating Forest Temple and entering water for the long shot. Heck, with a really simple backwalk, you don't even need the long shot. Wait a minute, I can't do anything here. Is this another linear bottleneck? Not quite. This statue says, if you want to proceed to the past, return with the pure heart of a child. And this statue says, can't you read, dingus? Come back later. I mean, earlier. Please have already been here before. Then you can be here again now. Man, that's a loaded riddle. Well, if the instructions are carved into stone, it's probably good advice. I'll come back when I'm younger, so that I've already been here. Okay, I'm here before. Now I can be here again. And look, it's Nabooru. It's really weird the Gerudo told Adult Link that Nabooru had gone to the Spirit Temple when we find out as Child Link she's been imprisoned here for 7 years by then. You think they'd say, our leader, the exalted Nabooru, disappeared a really goddamn long time ago, actually. Saying she headed to the temple is like saying dad is still out to pick up milk. At a certain number of years, you have to assume they're imprisoned in an iron knuckle. Tangent aside, there aren't really any linear issues to speak of here. Child Link's maxed out. I made it to the Silver Gauntlets and watched as Nabooru went out for a quick walk. I'm sure she'll be right back. Back to the future with the Silver Gauntlets, we can tackle the Gerudo training grounds. Nothing here requires more than the hookshot and bow. And the Silver Gauntlets, but I just said that. Getting this chest without hammer is definitely banned, but you don't actually need every key to reach the ice arrows. See? I got 2 left, and I still skipped a couple. I just wanted to show you that neat trick. Okay, I'm back, and I've officially been here before. Now we can be here now. Fun fact, the crouch stab in this game doesn't have its own damage value. It just uses the last damage you dealt with a melee weapon. That means doing a jump slash with the Bigoron sword will let me store that damage for this iron knuckle, letting me use the much quicker crouch stab to deal the high commitment damage of a jump slash. This technique is called power crouch stabbing, and it's not considered a glitch because there's no way to avoid doing it. Anyone who used the crouch stab has unintentionally used another weapon's damage value before. I always loved how sparkly the mirror shield was when you held it above your head. Kinda disappointing how it's basically a flat color during gameplay though. Skipping this puzzle wall with the long shot is always so funny. Who says Breath of the Kingdom is the only game where every puzzle has multiple solutions? Me when I forget my skincare routine for 1 day in winter? I don't like how attractive the Twin Rova obviously was to some developer at Nintendo. Too many giant floating women in this game. It's undeniably a sex thing. Alrighty, that's dungeon number 3. Nothing really stops you from beating Spirit Temple with only Child Link's equipment and maybe the bow. So what now? Well, the last 2 dungeons on the roster are the Fire and Shadow Temple. Shadow can't be entered under this rule set without beating Forest, Fire, and Water, which means the Fire Temple is our penultimate dungeon. I did about an hour of cleanup to get every heart piece and skull token first. I don't think I've ever been this kitted out heading into the Fire Temple. It's frankly unnecessary. You get 1 second of survival for every 8th heart every time you enter an area with extreme heat. With my current health, that means I get nearly 2.5 minutes in every hot room. I don't think I'm gonna need the Goron tunic. Fun fact, the game actually tracks Link's health down to the 16th of a heart, but it only calculates time in the heat by 1/8 of a heart. That means if you burn down to 1/16th heart with Fire Keys damage, you can get infinite time in extreme heat, because the game doesn't ascribe any time limit to that health value. This is actually used in low percent speedruns to skip the Goron tunic, and it is hilarious. Nothing too noteworthy happened in Fire though. It's been about 15 years since that happened to me. Well, guess I'm warping back up. Weird snappy trivia. My first experience with Ocarina of Time was actually Master Quest. I used my older brother's GameCube without his permission and picked the blue option on the title screen. When I played the original game for the first time, this fire cutscene jump scared the shit out of me because it's not in Master Quest. To this day, I remember being afraid every time I see this. Since I have the long shot, I can actually skip the Scarecrow song here to get the last few skulls. How sick is this setup? I freaking love this game. There we go, got the hammer. It always baffled me that you're scripted not to take fall damage here. I mean, I get it, it'd be a funny way to die, but how did Link's cankles withstand such punishment? I'm so rando-pilled, I accidentally skipped the hammer even though I have it equipped. No worries though, I can fix this. Okay. The flare dancers are so pretty. Do you think they'd be interested in becoming one of my male wives? Speaking of fairies, I found 2 right here. You're not gonna like what I have to say, but this dragon's pretty hot too. Alright, that's the Fire Temple. Just a few things to grab before we head to the final dungeon. Nice collision, dude. Now that we have the Forest, Fire, and Water medallions, we can get the Nocturne of Shadow. And we even did Bottom of the Well earlier. Did you know you could play Zelda's Lullaby at any Gossip Stone for a free fairy? Well, now you know. And now I have 3 male wives. Here we are in the Shadow Temple. I mean, what really needs said here? It's normally the penultimate dungeon, and we shifted it around to be the last. Without glitches, this is the most linear option I can think of, and you can still choose between it and the Spirit Temple if you really want. And I know what you're thinking. Clearly they intended for you to do Spirit last. Navi tells you to do Shadow. You need the lens to even get to Spirit. Then why does Bongo Bongo have a special behavior for being shot by ice arrows, an item that normally requires silver gauntlets? Why does the Shadow Medallion go after the Spirit Medallion in the inventory screen? And why does the climax check for both Shadow and Spirit to be completed to trigger the Zelda reveal cutscene? No matter which way you cut it, this is non-linear. Just like Echoes of Wisdom has a mandatory first dungeon, a choice between 2 more, then the game opens up with a multiple choice sequence. And Ocarina even ends with another multiple choice between Shadow and Spirit. If you still want to say Ocarina of Time is one of those dumb baby linear games, I can't stop you. But I think there's something to learn from it. Games like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword all followed the same general pattern of Ocarina, but they gave the player fewer options on how to tackle the world. They're all amazing in their own right, yes, even Skyward Sword, but in chasing the high of Ocarina of Time's critical reception, it's almost like they missed a bit of what made the game so special. My hope is the next 3D Zelda game will take a nice long look at Tears of the Kingdom and Ocarina of Time to see what balance can be struck between them. I think some linear bottlenecks are actually a good thing, but I do enjoy the freedom of tackling things in my own order. That's right, you little shits. This is actually a video essay. I have opinions, and I'm gonna use the rest of this playthrough to shove them down your throat. Wait, I beat Ganon? Oh. Well, that was my 100% playthrough of Ocarina of Time in a very silly order. Not really a challenge video this time around. I think it's more like a demonstration run. Either way, I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching till the end. Maybe I can show off how other games in the series are less linear than you think. Like Majora's Mask, or Skyward Sword. Maybe not Skyward Sword. Unless...